we're back with another episode of the CXO Conversations series. I'm Klaudia Tirico, editor of Demand Gen Report, and with me today is the lovely Jen Spencer, CRO of SmartBug Media. Jen, it is so great to see you again. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. It's good to see you too. And I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a chance to see you again in person at an event soon.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there is that light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully we could see each other soon for sure, because it's definitely been a while. But I mean, I know you pretty well, but to kick things off, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit more about SmartBug.
Oh, I would love to. So SmartBug Media we're an intelligent inbound marketing agency, and we work with businesses to help them grow revenue by helping generate leads, increase brand awareness, build customer loyalty, all through content marketing, sales enablement, web development, marketing automation, revenue operations, public relations, basically all things digital marketing. And as the chief revenue officer at SmartBug, I am responsible for overseeing our entire customer and our revenue lifecycle. So I oversee our sales, marketing, and our client services teams. And the goal is, how do we help our customers and our partners build those high growth sales, marketing, RevOps, and service systems? And I've been with SmartBug for about a little over 3.5 years, almost 4 years actually. And but prior to that, I ran revenue teams inside of a few different SaaS companies, worked in the nonprofit space, and started my career actually in education as a teacher. So really, just run the gamut as far as career goes. But I'm happy to be running the revenue team here at SmartBug.
That's awesome. I had no idea that you have a teaching background. That's great. And obviously, two words that you hit on in your introduction, RevOps and inbound, are basically two of the topics that we're kind of going to cover today that I'd love to dive in with you. Because SmartBug recently launched a report on where RevOps and inbound collide. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to dive into this topic for the chat today. And, I've been hearing a ton about, RevOps. It's definitely growing. But in your opinion, what is the state of RevOps today?
Yeah. So it was like at the end of March, March 2021, we launched this industry benchmark report to try to bring together RevOps and inbound marketing and technology. And I just want to give some credit to our partners that helped us with that. Terminus, Typeform, and Vidyard. We're awesome martech partners. But we conducted this research. We connected with over 200 different revenue leaders across sales, marketing, operations, and customer success. And I think some of the highlights that we discovered, one is there's a growing need for operational efficiency, that also RevOps is more than just data and analytics. It's also quite a bit about your people. And that's something that we tend to forget about, I think, is when I hear people talk about revenue operations. Collaboration is just more important than ever before. That's probably been said so many times, but it came up again. And then the other thing, and this one is pretty important to me, that it's not just sales' responsibility to hit revenue targets. So those are some of key things that came out of it, and that make us really excited about the future of inbound marketing and how inbound marketing and revenue operations intersect and work together.
Very interesting. So, just to riff off what you just said, tell me about how these two worlds are colliding and what you're seeing in the space, given the weird world we're living in post-pandemic. I don't know if maybe we're still in a pandemic, but it's kind of, we have that that light at the end of the tunnel. So how is all of this colliding, and what kind of advice would you give marketers who are really looking to better collaborate and really align across the organization to see success?
One of the coolest things about this revenue operations, RevOps kind of movement, and what we also saw in the report is that for those like purist inbound marketers who've been around for the last 10 plus years, this is a really exciting time because all of the philosophical conversations we've been having about supporting buyers all throughout their customer journey and not just kind of forgetting about them after the sale is closed and using data, looking at kind of their footprints, their digital footprints all throughout like their awareness stage and their consideration through their decision stage, and then converting them into evangelists. That's stuff we've been all talking about, again, like 10 plus years. Now it's like the technology has all caught up with that methodology. So inbound marketers, it's time to start bringing it all together. It's time to, master strategy by using connected CRMs to find new ways to collaborate with other departments throughout the organization. If you're a marketer, it's no longer going to be enough to just deliver leads and build a nurture strategy. There's more that's going to be on those marketers' plate. And it's exciting because it means like as a marketer, you can reevaluate like what's your role. And the best marketing teams are going to be ones that are really one-stop shops that can deliver strategy and also do the implementation. So they can lay out this big picture, like lead capture vision, but then they also are prepared to add that technical framework and the know-how to execute kind of all at the same time.
I love that. And going back to a few of the things you just said, collaboration, alignment, I feel like alignment is still a struggle. I mean, we conduct a decent amount of research at Demand Gen Report, and it's still always coming up as a common challenge, whether it's for RevOps, for ABM, I mean, you name it. Why do you think that is?
It's hard. Klaudia, it's hard, right? And there's even it's funny. I was talking to someone recently about how the way that I've got things organized inside of my own platform at SmartBug for our own kind of customer lifecycle, that whole journey. We've got all of the strategy. I've got all of the buy-in, all the support, but there's only so many hours in a day. And my systems are still not quite where I really want them to be, right? So there's some people that are living in that space because life happens, right? Because there's things, fires, and there's things that kind of happen in the organization that are become priorities. But in a lot of organizations, we see a lack of strategic planning, or a lack of communication and process documentation throughout the organization. So it's not uncommon for there to be these games of telephone. Let's say there's a quote offsite, whatever version of offsite we're doing now, an offsite with the executive team. They come up with kind of the 3-year, 5-year roadmap, break down the 1-year plan. They've got their quarterly rocks and like that. They're doing the strategic planning. But then how does that get disseminated to the rest of the organization? And then after it does, are the compensation models and plans and the hiring models and plans aligned with that new way of working together? Do they support that? And you're talking about involving departments like finance and legal and operations, in addition to marketing and sales and customer success and your administration. And that's a lot of people to kind of get on board. So I recognize it's hard. There's quite a bit that has to be done. But it just means being kind of thoughtful and making it a priority, because otherwise what's going to happen if the compensation models, if the hiring models, if the way that your organization is structured, if those don't evolve and those don't change, then you're going to have these high level conversations about where you need to go, but you're never going to get there.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, that's a really great answer. Probably one of the more insightful, why is alignment still a struggle, answers that I've gotten. So that's great. Thank you. But you mentioned it earlier, everybody, we want to be able to share all the data that we have access to. And frankly, I can only imagine it's so much data, especially with intent coming in and all of these different formats. So data obviously plays a key role here, and sharing it across core systems and technologies and the team is important. So just as an example, what does that look like for you guys at SmartBug? How do you wrangle it all together efficiently?
So you're right about data. And in our report, there were like over 96% of people said they believe in data sharing kind of across core systems, that's going to be critical to their success. Other folks, I wonder what kind of business they're running, right? Like I was like surprised, like why is it not 100%? And this actually connects back to kind of the alignment conversation too. When you think about data sharing and like how it can be actually used. So if sales enablement is important to you, if running an account-based sales and marketing programs is important, your sales development efforts, your customer marketing and evangelism. So with the way that we handle things, I'm talking about like our own internal departments, right? Like not our clients, because they each have their own different flavor, right? But if I think about our own organization from a sales enablement perspective, we work very hard to build the strategy and then make sure the systems support our sales reps having access to information about prospect behavior online, so that when a sales executive from SmartBug gets on a call with a potential new client of ours, that person can easily glean, these are the assets that person has consumed. Here's how much time they've been spending with us already. Here are the exact kind of here's their footprint, right? Here's the map. We can like look back and see what their path to success to getting to us has been like. And also we have information about what else is going on in that organization, because we are amplifying and enriching our data through other platforms like ZoomInfo. So we know kind of what kind of a growth trajectory the company's been on and what technology they're using. And we can easily get the answers to those like low level questions, so that when we do have that time, with that very valuable time with our buyer persona, that time is spent very wisely. That time is spent providing a lot of value, as opposed to just like extracting information that we can glean from the different signals that we're able to kind of subscribe to. Same is true for like doing an account-based sales and account-based marketing program. We want to make sure that our team has all of that critical data, and that marketing is help supporting sales and providing kind of a framework and guidance for how they can best penetrate those accounts. Sales development, kind of the same story. So where we are still working hard and evolving, and honestly, Klaudia, like we've made significant progress even this calendar year so far in the few short months we've had, but it's really more around the customer marketing and evangelism side. All requires data. So a pain that we are kind of working our way through right now is that we have a lot of really important data about our customers and the way that they engage with us. We have a lot of that like post-sale that lives in our project management solution that we use. And that's the heartbeat of our organization. And that doesn't feed back right now into our CRM and into our marketing automation platform. So our dream is to be able to continue to communicate with customers and leverage marketing automation, but ensure that it's really relevant based off of their unique situation and their unique goals. And right now we have all the information, but it's in disparate systems. And so that's something, it's actually we have all these kind of themes and goals for our organization. And the theme that spans all of 2021 is becoming a well-oiled machine. So we connect all of our work, all of our efforts back up to certain campaigns. And that's the master campaign, truly, that's guiding our organization this year, so that when we kick off 2022, as crazy as that sounds, it's far away, it's there. And we really can really be humming and in a way that that embraces the entire customer lifecycle as opposed to just the sales and marketing part.
Awesome. And you did touch on some technology, project management solution. You talked about Zoom Info. Obviously, technology is critical for all aspects of marketing. So tell me about the stack. When it comes to RevOps, what is necessary? What is a nice to have? And how do you kind of work to build that ideal stack to generate success and make sure that machine is running smoothly?
It's going to depend, right? It's going to depend from organization to organization. But I think this where it's really interesting right now is this conversation over best of breed solutions versus platforms. So if I go back, however many, 8-9-ish years, right? I think I remember kind of championing this best of breed approach and wanting people to be able to access, okay, what technology is best for that particular use, and then how do we integrate those? And if you can do that, and you have the budget to do that, you have the time to do that, that's great. You can build the perfect stack for you based on your organization. But for a lot of companies, they don't have the time and resources. They don't have those, especially coming out of this pandemic. A lot of organizations have had to just adjust and adapt. And it's actually been kind of cool and exciting to see. But it's also what makes a full platform a bit more attractive. So platforms that include your CRM, your marketing automation, your social media management, your landing page creation, your blogging platform, your CMS, your operation systems, your account management, all of those things together it's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice kind of an offering for folks right now. And it's kind of a fast pass, honestly, to get to those real like interconnected systems. But that's obviously not going to be for everyone. But I think there are those sort of two paths of like, do you go down the platform path and have the majority of your tech stack be part of one entity? And then maybe you're going to have a couple things that you bolt on for special use cases, which makes sense. Or do you have the luxury of building a best of breed type of stack? And do you have, when I say luxury, I mean, it's truly time. It's time and money. And money's time, right? Yeah. So do you have that? It's gonna depend. And I in thinking about like the prospects and the clients that we talk to on a regular basis, it's all across the board. So it depends on the size of that organization and also their industry and their niche. And there are a lot of organizations that require very specific kinds of technology in order to best support their customers. And so there's really not like a one size fits all.
Yeah, definitely. And just out of curiosity, I mean, you've been in the B2B marketing space for a while. You've seen that martech landscape grow and grow and grow year after year. In terms of, martech, do you see more consolidation in the future?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I feel like, okay, so we are partners of a number of organizations, number of different marketing technologies and sales technologies, but HubSpot's the biggest partner that we work with. And I feel like every quarter there's something that they're doing that I go, oh, well, that just eliminated the need for this, or that just eliminated the need for that. And it's cool, right? Because we're able to provide so much more value to our customers who are using the platform. But do I think founders are going to stop innovating and creating? No, I don't think that the landscape is going to shrink necessarily, because I think it's anything that gets gobbled up or replaced is going to just there's going to be something new that comes. And that's actually the beauty of this awesome marketing technology RevOps world we live in. There's always somebody trying to figure out how to solve for a very specific pain. But frankly, there are a lot of solutions out there that are really features
Mm-hmm.
and that are going to get kind of consolidated in with this movement of organizations, these martech organizations really wanting to build out their platforms. I mentioned HubSpot. Terminus is also a really great example of a company that has really gone all in on being a platform. When they first started off, they offered a very specific feature, a really cool feature, but a really specific feature. Now there's probably 8 or 10, maybe more that I don't even know about, others, SaaS companies out there that offer that thing that Terminus once did. Now Terminus has become so much more. And they really have grown into being a system of record for so many revenue organizations. And so I think, yeah, there has to be consolidation because buyers are requiring it. Like, this is all coming. All of these demands aren't coming because there's a bunch of marketers and sales leaders and customer success leaders who are like, let's just change things up, right? Like, this is like, these changes are happening because customers are demanding it. They're requiring it. They're getting irritated if you don't know everything about them. They expect that. They expect because they're having conversations in their kitchen, and then an hour later they're seeing an ad for a product that they mentioned pop up in their Instagram feed.
Yep.
That's happening.
Yeah.
So like, when that happens in their consumer lives, they expect that enough about them in their business life, and so the demands are higher.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Spotify could curate a full playlist to my liking, I would expect, the MarTech companies of the world to do the same. So absolutely.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Terminus too. This is not sponsored by Terminus. We're just all big fans of Terminus as well. Well, Jen, any other aha moments that really stood out from the report that you guys worked on? You guys surveyed over 200 revenue leaders in the space. So what did you learn? What was the big surprise moment there?
I don't know if I had like massive surprises, but there were definitely things that I was glad to see. And there were some things that I was, I guess, maybe a little surprised to see. So like, okay, for example, most sales leaders, like, everyone agrees sales needs to be measured on revenue generation, right? But only 65%, I think, of our respondents apply that same standard to marketing. And like, very, very, very few people actually tie any kind of revenue generation to customer success. Surprising, I guess not surprising, but I like to see those numbers shift. And the conversations I'm having with very like forward-thinking, revenue-driven marketers, I think that is something that we're going to see. It was shocking, I think, to see that less than 25% of the people we surveyed are satisfied with their team's ability to regularly report basic performance metrics and aligned views. And that, is disappointing, right? Like, we put so much effort. Like, I know how much work it takes. I know how much effort a hardworking salesperson puts into their day, a sales team leader, a marketing manager. Like, we all are working so hard. And the fact that less than 25% can say, yeah, we actually have the reporting metrics in place, like reporting function in place, so we can see, like, we can show what we're doing and how it's working. Like, that just makes me sad, right? And worse, not having aligned views. And it's not uncommon for us to hear from a CEO saying, like, I just want to have a report. I want to go through a month where sales and marketing create a report that are supposed to provide the same data, and it actually does. And it like says the same thing. So that was, I think that really kind of struck me. And then the last thing I would say is that there are a lot of people, it was over 50%. It was like 60 something percent of people said they would actually just completely walk away from buying new technology if it didn't include a native integration to their CRM. So for me, that's like a big word to all of these other technology platforms, right, that want to integrate. And when you say, oh yeah, well, you can just, you can use a webhook, or, oh, you can use Zapier for that, or, oh, you could use, and you have this other solution, 60 something percent are not interested. They want it to be something like out of the box. Now, whether or not that's possible is another story, but that's what they're coming in expectation wise. And so I think it's important for then those organizations that are trying to sell to those people to decide, how important is it that we earn this customer? Or is there do we need to narrow our ideal customer profile? And do we need to hone in on people who only use this particular CRM platform?
I love it. Good stuff. I mean, I dove into the report, and it's just really great insights from, there was some of our, friends. I think I saw Justin Keller in there and things like that from the marketing industry. So really great insights in that report. I love it. Since this series is called CXO Conversations, every single video, I always ask, what types of conversations are you having with other C-level executives in the space, your peers, your colleagues? What are stress levels like these days? What are people prioritizing? What are some common concerns? Anything about that?
Yes. So a lot of conversations right now about hiring and about talent and recruitment. So it's a really fun time to be in marketing. Marketers are in demand. Very technical marketers are in demand. Like basically anybody who would do any of the things we've been talking about today in this conversation. If you do these things, someone wants to hire you. Yeah. That's what's happening right now. And if to understand where that's all coming from, if you think about what the regular market needs were, and then because of COVID, a lot of organizations did have to adapt. So organizations that maybe were holding back on really investing in digital and putting together these kinds of platforms, and were really relying on kind of old school paper and pencil and Excel and email. And believe me, there still were a lot of them, and there still are. They were forced into innovation. Mm-hmm. It's just creating more and more demand, or having expertise in these different platforms. So the need for talent is a big conversation, and how that maybe is driving up the price of really good talent. Paying people for what they're worth. And then, of course, also exploring more of the remote life, which we at SmartBug, we've always been remote. We've always been 100% remote. We don't have an office at all. So we didn't really have to change or evolve there. But that is a big topic of conversation now, and how people want to embrace that if they do. And I feel like people are either in one camp or another. They're either like, this is great, let's do more of this, or they are just done and they can't wait to get back to, quote, normal. But what's going to be interesting with the talent pool and the requirement for it is how organizations and how C-level leaders start thinking about their priorities and maybe making some shifts, when so many organizations are really embracing remote and hiring remote employees, and how that it could potentially impact their talent acquisition efforts.
Absolutely. All good stuff, and really unique conversations going on, even around, when it comes to talent and recruitment and all that. I really hope, I'm hoping, I do see it a little bit, but I'm hoping a little more, for a little more, a little spotlight on diversity as well when hiring, especially given, the current situation last year. So I'd love to see more diversity when people are hiring and things like that. So all good stuff. So what's next for you? What's next for you and SmartBug?
Well, I'm like, what day is it? Let's see. No, what's next? So speaking of the importance of diversity and recruitment and talent, so we actually just hired a director of people operations. We shifted from having an HR kind of team to really leaning into this concept of people ops, and we're continuing to nurture our own DEI initiatives. and supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. So that's exciting for us and really, really important to us. As you know, as our team continues to grow, and it's becoming ingrained. It's all ingrained in our culture, and how we are, making sure we grow up to be the company that we want to be, and that there's intention there. So that's really important. From services and a technical perspective, we actually just announced yesterday, or actually, well, maybe a couple days ago here, that we officially joined the Marketo Solutions partner program, or the Adobe Solutions partner program. We've had some Marketo clients for the last few years and have really done a lot of exciting work with those customers, those Marketo customers, and helping them better leverage Marketo. And so I'm excited about where that line of our business and those support mechanisms are, where that's kind of growing, and got a chance to participate in Adobe's summit and really enjoying that. In addition, kind of over on the HubSpot side, we are doing more and more enterprise grade website builds. So we had participated in an advanced implementation certification for the CMS Hub, their enterprise grade CMS Hub. And from that, we have begun building very, very large enterprise grade multi-language websites, moving people off of systems like Sitecore or Drupal onto more intuitive, connected systems like HubSpot that connect with the CRM and just empower marketers to be more effective in supporting their customers. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see where we go and grow with it, and how it sort of shifts the market a little bit too.
That's awesome. And I'm excited myself to see all the great things that come out of all of that. And yeah, well, it sounds like you are one busy woman. So I am not going to take up any more of your time today. Thank you so much, Jen. That's all the questions I had for you. It was so great to see you. Hopefully we get to see each other in person very, very soon. So I really appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's it for today's episode, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will see you next time. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to our series so you don't miss any new episodes. And of course, drop me a line on LinkedIn or Twitter if you want to be a guest on the show, or if you know somebody that would be a good fit. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a great day and take care.